So as you work with SmartArt and you're working with the text pane or even just the shapes in the middle, you might find that some things kind of mess themselves up as you're going along, especially if you're using like backspace and those kinds of things. In a bulleted list, when you hit backspace, it moves a shape out and promotes it to the next level. For instance, if I go to my name here and I hit backspace, you'll see that it actually demotes not only me, but promotes not only me, but promotes everybody else within me. So it's important to kind of look at where are the levels and what are they aligned at, especially when you're working in things like a hierarchy or those kinds of things. So I'm going to go ahead and hit Control Z to go back. But what I want to show you is that my aunt and my grandma and my other aunt, Marcy, are all outside of this shape and disconnected. And that's because if I scroll down to the bottom, they have actually been disconnected due to me hitting backspace. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll down to the bottom of my SmartArt text pane here. And when I do this, you can see that my Aunt Shelley is actually sitting out at level 1, and my grandma is connected to her, and my Aunt Marcy is sitting at level 2. Now, if I scroll all the way up to the top, my grandpa's sitting at level 1 and my dad is sitting at level 2, which means I need my Aunt Shelley to also be sitting at level 2. You'll see that if I go to my Aunt Shelley here and I demote her, or I hit tab on my keyboard, she will move from here and become connected back to my dad and his siblings. So if I hit tab, it will push her into level 2 because I want her at the same level as Chris and at Randy. And then Marcy also becomes at the same level. And because Grandma Pat is an assistant, she is also looking like she's at level 2, but instead she's actually still connected to my Grandpa Pete as an assistant. So you can see by quickly if I hit Control Z and go back, it messes up the whole shape. The whole SmartArt makes it look very confusing and you're like, oh my God, no, that's not where things need to be. But just by hitting one little tab, I've actually created my whole SmartArt back the way I need it to be and organized it. So when you're looking at this text pane, the bulleted list and how they're organized is really actually super important because they show like what level things are at. Grandpa Pete is the top level. That's why he's the top shape, level 1. My dad, Randy, Chris, Shelley, and Marcy are all sitting at level 2 together on the hierarchy. And then my Grandma Pat is actually an assistant in between. Looking at the next level, myself and my sister are both at that level 3. And you can see that we're sitting right here and it almost looks like we're connected to Chase, but we're not. And my mom has actually pushed us down because if I add Chase and Cassie's mom, Kelly, and I add an assistant shape there, we'll all be looking like we're at the same level again because we have now got our mothers in there. So we now have those pieces and you can see that we're pushing things down and further depending on what type of level they're at. But it's really organized by this menu here because Miles and Annabeth and Justin, Maddie, and Kenzie, they're all in the same generation, so they're all sitting right there. So it's really organized in that level, looking like the bulleted list here over on the left. So I think that's an important thing to note is that this bulleted list really does control this SmartArt. And so if you really are understanding how the levels work at this bulleted list, you're going to be able to make your SmartArt do whatever you want it to do.